At some point, the doctor's character, the Romeo, he felt he became like mental disturbed at some point. Like, I think like, I felt. And one more thing, like the guy, the policeman, is he really want to try to help or just he was playing like with because in the end, with his last scene, when the girl in the police station and he was asking some questions, and before that the father he stopped by another police officer. He was giving something. At that time he was listening what he was asking to my girl, my daughter. Yeah, there's just again. Then he left.
Yeah, there is a little shake there. Why? Maybe wantedly when father comes, hold him sometime. Let me finish my talking with her.
So, being a friend, there's a policeman also side. And also one more thing I want to ask. There is lots of scene on mid shot. I like assume like mid shots.
Yeah.
Medium shots.
Yeah, yeah, because basically everything is about the humans talking. When we have to concentrate on what they discuss talking, that too serious, obviously we should go for. If there are two characters, it has to be a mid shot. Or even three characters, again it should be a mid shots. Only single means you have to go for a close up. Then only we concentrate on, the environment and the backdrop is not an entire. I remember one student asked me why there's a scene where he goes and he meets a police officer somewhere else. They're trying to find something, some mountains. Yeah, okay. Often I like I enjoy getting into the minds of film director or the creator. We may be right, we may be wrong, but still. Then I answered that student, why that scene? That see, when you write a scene after scene, these two can meet only either in the police station or in his office. I already have done 4 scenes. Cameraman would say, "Scene again the police station, please change the location." But I want the conversation should be the yes, you're right. I know how many scenes you have taken. 3? Okay, I'll think of something else. But it has to be logically, like that. Is trying to get into where they think of the audience also. Sometimes the cameraman don't like every day police station, different scenes, but we get bored.
But there they have chance to look the view and talk about view also.
Views.
And he's talking about that in my school days we are looking back.
Yeah, it was greener, the pasture was greener. Yeah, but he tries to bring in all kinds of philosophy wherever he gets a little chance about Romania life. That's Christian Mingiu.
Wasn't there also a hint that they were searching for the suspect out there? Like we are going to catch him and all that. So they're probably out hunting for the convict.
I found that scene was a little funny, but still I was trying to get into the director's mind. Why did he choose that location?
Yeah, and because the scene starts with showing the captain sleeping inside. Or convict hunting.
Even if when you write a beautiful script, but if too many scenes are in the same location, unless there is no other way, a patient is in the hospital, obviously he has to be in the hospital. Okay, at least take him out. In the wheelchair, let him see the green. There you have that scene. Like that sometimes that's I'm talking about the author's mind. We do that.
That scene, actually, when they are in the mountain, it gives. There's something funny about it.
Yeah.
I think it's not just.
Required.
I think there's a purpose,
Yeah.
And you see all these policemen. There are many jokes, I think, in every culture about policemen, and I think there is something about it. And even the chief, I feel kind of sympathy for someone I wouldn't really trust.
Yeah.
And there is a complicity because they went. I think what I understood from the conversation, they went to school together probably, or
Yeah.
they knew each other as boys, and so there were maybe 20 when in 1989 when
Yeah.
things started to change, and they were in the same position as those graduates 20, 30 years later, and they were full of dreams and hopes and about going to UK, and some of them thought that's real life, and some of them went and maybe found better life. And like the policeman character, for me it's an example of someone who just, well, I didn't get the chance, so I do what I can, and you know, like kind of resign to whatever, and well, whatever counts. There's a lot of nostalgia, I think, looking back what time we have wasted, or we thought was so many, everything will change, and I think there's also this grandma who doesn't agree with her granddaughter to go away because she knows, well, of course there's this, she doesn't want her to go because she will be fired, but there's also maybe she's more wise because she knows it's not the country, it's not the place which will change the things. And I think the young people, especially at the end, when you look at their faces, it's full of hope because somehow they are more, I think with their youth, they understand much better than their parents what really counts to be. And what she says to her, the daughter, she says, I did what I thought was the best as you taught me, you know. And I think in all this complicated situation, that's the best maybe gift for the father who to hear. Maybe doesn't resolve. One more thing. Sorry if I'm taking too much time. About those scenes when we don't get any answers, like about the stone at the beginning, but there was one when he goes and he's so much in this bushes and finds something and he starts to cry. I think maybe it's just a suggestion of the secret hidden parts in our lives that even spectators, that we get information. There is the story. We get to know that this man will do this because of that to help his daughter, and still there are those hidden parts which are in everyone's life and which nobody can explain, maybe we ourselves don't understand, and so we cannot judge anyone, because there is something maybe happened which is so much hidden that even he doesn't deal with it on the screen because it's completely secret, you know. Maybe he was involved in a car accident, somebody died, and I thought the dead body is still there, whatever. But we don't know.
It's true.
As in real life, that's what I think.
There is a saying, a child is a father of a father. The same thing is reflected in some of the scene. We don't know how the girl knows the relationship of the father. It is no hint, like a throwing of a stone, how it happened, that also. Once he is asked why you are going in the route. In the car he is asking his father, why you are going in the route. That was
He wants.
That's why
Read at this point so that she hears, she understands that.
The girls are especially very bright and predict each and everything. That is a thing, other event. And another thing is, this is any play or a movie is a child, an outcome of a director. He doesn't care about some of the things. He wanted to portray what is needed on the screen. Ek Din Achanak is a famous Bengali movie. In that, one girl who is a breadwinner of the house.
That's
is a
Ek Din
30
Pratidin.
Ek Din Pratidin, Ek Din. This is a movie that one girl who is a breadwinner of the family with a brother and father, mother, some siblings also there. One day she has gone for the job and not returned the usual time. The home waited and the neighbors waited. Early morning she returns. And before that the story ends. But there are so much of thing about where any accident, they go with the man whom she had some liking, so many things there. And so Ek Din Pratidin ended like this. When the director, Gita Shembanaka is the director? Minalsan. When he came to Chennai, during one of the press meet, one member asked, director, can you tell where the girl has gone during the night?
Yeah.
Then Minalsan honestly said that I don't know. Then you are the director, you know the play.
Yeah.
How can you say that you don't know? He said that, believe me, friend, believe me, comrade, believe me, I don't know. This is not in my story. My story, don't want to tell
he
that.
got very angry. As if he knows, you bloody chauvinistic bastards, why should I tell you that? I know, so what? I don't want to tell.
That is the thing, because many things will happen. That is not in the mind. What is the reflection out of it? The girl is out of house for the late night.
Yeah.
So how the remaining mind will work on it?
Yeah.
That is a major thing. The girl's disappearance is only a little part of it, beginning part of it. The same way, so many things here happen also.
But he said the stone throwing could be the song. It's a very interesting
Yes.
thought.
Comparing it to the other film, 4 months, and I think we can clearly see the same signature. The director's signature is very much there, especially in those very long mid-shots. And there too, there were long shots, especially when there were those awkward, painful, unpleasant conversations that go on and on. And it's quite interesting to see all those mid-shots without any, they're quite psychological, they're quite deep, they're meant to create discomfort in the audience, and all of it is done without close-up of faces. There are virtually no close-ups of faces. Not a single character. We don't see much of their faces. And I don't know if there is any label, any official name to this technique, but I'm sure it's done deliberately. So that way, the impression that the director wants to create is not through the images like faces, but rather putting us through this mid-grind, emotional mid-grind, and making us feel how it feels. So another thing I wanted to share, this very strange scene, as you all noticed, with this inquiry going on somewhere in the hills. I don't know, I took this remark about the grass or something greener on the other side when we were school kids as actually a reference to the Soviet period.
No.
Because if we count, so it's 2016 when the movie was made, and the movie is set in today's Romania.
Yeah.
Even though it is presented in a very Soviet light, but it's today's Romania clearly, because there are mobile phones and very decent cars, by the way. There were no such cars in Soviet times. So if we count back around 30 years, that was the time when those guys were in school or in the college somewhere, so it may be this kind of reference. And regarding the stone throwing, I have my own, if not interpretation, but just a feeling about it. In this context where everyone is sort of corrupt, and doctors, I think in every system are particularly corruption prone, because everybody needs their services. It is not surprising that someone maybe in this small town who has some grudge against the doctor, and that's why there is this repeated breaking of glass and whatnot. And another thing in the same vein is there was this episode where the father and the daughter, when they are driving down the road and they have a conversation, and he suddenly brakes, and the daughter asks, why do you always brake at this spot even when there are no people? So it may sort of refer or suggest that there was some kind of story. Maybe this doctor even ran someone over, but he wriggled out using his connections or favors or whatever, again trying to do the best for his daughter and for whatever best reasons and whatnot. But otherwise it all hangs. There is no reason. It's not. I refuse to believe that it's just to show that he's stressed. Of course, I mean, doctors are usually stressed. It's a difficult profession, especially if it is a surgeon, but I think there is something more to that. Yeah, so this is it. Yeah.
That's what he also referred as his crying. The same location he goes and breaks out and cries.
Yeah, and one more thing. I don't know. I haven't been to Romania, although I've known a bunch of Romanians. I think it is the way the society is portrayed, the society of today. It is deliberately negative. It is exaggerated. So the society that we have seen is some kind of stereotyped banana republic kind of thing. Sorry, Susanna. that we all would recognize, where everyone is corrupt, where there are haves and have-nots, but I have a feeling that it's a deliberate exaggeration. It's not necessarily a reflection of reality, where there's nothing really happy happening throughout the film, except for the last moment where graduates pose for the photograph and finally they smile. Otherwise there are no smiles on a single face. In 2 hours there is not a single smile. I think it is done deliberately. It's a partly imaginary world that the director constructed for his own purposes, because he wanted to put something across, and he wanted, obviously, to investigate this very difficult question where innocent lies stop and corruption start. Where does it all take us? Where does it take the society? And in that sense, it's similar to the films that take you on a journey where you realize that actually everyone is dishonest. It's like something like Rashomon or Nikita Mikhalkov's 12, where you go through it and you realize that in the long run everyone is dishonest. There is no such thing as honesty. It's just not possible. It is desirable and it is taught in school like here, but it is just not possible. And that was like the purpose of the director, and that's why he created this very unattractive world with some reference to, not very pleasant, by the way, Soviet architectural realities of Romania, which are very much there, by the way. But it is no more a Soviet country. It has changed quite a lot, at least outwardly. It's been a part of European Union for a long time. So, yeah, I think it's deliberate exaggeration. But I don't know, I can't say.
Yeah, thanks to everyone. I think it really helps. All those comments and all, they're very valuable and really help understand better the movie point of view. I really appreciated the comment like Alexander about the shots, the mid shots and the locations. We talked about the locations. And all in all, it helped me, all those comments helped me understand a bit more what I was trying to digest. And I got a bit that feeling, especially like in the last sequence, where there's thank you, where there's really, I felt completely confused at the end, even where it was happening. Because it started in the hospital, and then we went in the kind of police station, and then in the school, and actually it was complete, I didn't even know, so partly it was done because of the shots were quite centered, so that they don't give actually a feeling about the locations, where we are, like it's a bit like, and it's continuously moving, so that there's no, I don't think there's a single still shot. So at the end, like it's a matter of confusion, and I think you expressed it very well, Alexander. I think it's on purpose that the director really wanted to create his own world and put us inside. And at the end, a bit. I felt confused at the end. So somehow he really reached his point, the director. A bit the doctor also. Like he's a doctor, but we don't really see him at work. Okay, everybody tells us like he's a very good, very highly appreciated professional doctor, but we see him more as almost like a policeman. Like somehow, like he tries to step in there, and then he steps everywhere. So it gets all super confused about the locations, about the characters, and all. So that really, I think that emphasizes the also people are lost somehow. Like, I was a bit lost.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but we don't see him involved in the surgery or with a mask and other thing. But even the woman, the sweeper woman also, they all have such a great respect for him. I mean, you would like to have a coffee and says that they're the policeman. Which means he has such a high reputation because of his honesty and the moving with everyone very humanly. Yeah, I mean, that's why, I mean, so much thought has gone behind every dialogue, every scene, every shot, that's what the nuances of the mise-en-scène. Like two people talk, so many people walk in, walk out, cross, this is what I tend to observe, People, many today's young directors don't know how to direct the backdrop. I tell them, learn from these films how to learn the backdrop, though audience don't see that gives life to the scene, foreground. They keep their background either empty or chumma naam ke vaste, some characters stay there. So plastic it is not plastic here.
Like the wife, we see her in the library at some point at the end, and I remember that in the beginning he was saying when they were in conversation, husband and wife, that she was only a librarian. So I remember, she's a librarian. That's why we see the library. That was important that he said this in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah.
People say that the least stressful job, I don't know it's true. Is there any librarian here? To be a librarian in the world. If you want to take the least stressful job, you can be a librarian. I always, having read that, I always envy librarians whenever I see. No stress. The surgeon, what a combination. Librarian wife and the surgeon husband.
But librarian said that the bibliography is really difficult to make it. And if you want a real librarian, knowing each and every book, you see, if I am in charge of anything, I know each and everything of it.
Yeah.
If I come and ask me a book, I will
Immediately.
at least tell that the book is coming and not.
Yeah.
I know one of the librarian of Tagora's college. His own subject might be, but whoever will ask anything, he sometimes he complete the title of it.
Yeah.
And that is a passion for the thing. If any job, with a passion and real working, it is difficult. But doctor is doctor, that is a light in the hand. That is it. But I won't say that it's a very easy job. Because not showing any book, not touching any book. One of this, my headmistress, senior headmistress told that the book in the library and a virgin lady was same.
Okay.
Nobody touched them. So if the librarian is like that and keep all the books under lock and key and make it eaten or touched by only the ants, white ants, that is different. But I need how much very easily you go and pick up a book in any library. Even the Anna library of Tamil Nadu, I see that it is well maintained. They are very dynamic. They never say no to anything. They want to search it and ask us to search it and search it to give. Because I know each and every section of it and do it is very difficult. Don't command any job at any sake.
No. So least stressful means they don't get heart attacks.
Yeah, I wanted to add about the like Alexander said, there are a lot of deliberate things done. You know, one of the things that I noticed was how the state of mind of the character develops over so the character's journey. And I felt in that moment when he got out of his car, went in the bush and cried, I felt that the director wanted to show a moment of weakness that he felt, because as you mentioned that he's trying to control everything. And as he's trying to control more, it's like grabbing sand, right? The more tighter you try to grab it, the more you lose control over it. And at one point in time, you realize that you're not getting it done, and you have kind of a panic attack, and you need to get away from everything, go in a corner, and just cry it out. You know, so I felt that it was the director's choice to do that, to show a moment of weakness for him, because he's always trying to, you know, get to some place, get something done, and like everybody mentioned, control. So these moments are, there sometimes, like when he goes after his wife, he actually starts begging, because he knows that he has tried to be smart, he has tried to be, conniving, but he has failed. So he finally resorts to begging, which is a moment of weakness. And I felt that was shown very, very naturally. It's like, if I think about it, if I'm in that situation, I would probably lose all, control of my, I would probably lose my legs and fall down. If I end up trying to do something funny and then see that I lost all control, I would, I really related to those moments. That
you see, initially when the girl is leaving the father from the back door, he kisses in a different way each other. So everywhere they are going and they are departing. When the difference of opinion came for so many reasons, then you see the word become predominant than touching and other thing. So when the girl is leaving in the bike, but he is not inviting the kiss, but he kissed on the forehead and said that, I love you. Then you see, initially action become predominant. Later, when the action failed, that the word become predominant. So he uses kisses as an important tool here. For the girl of love, everybody uses kisses very well, very rationally also.